Prior to its release in 2005, game director Fumito Ueda had an original concept of incorporating 48 Colossi in the game, but soon realized that putting in that many wouldn't be possible, so he ended up narrowing it down to 24. Eventually, those 24 became the 16 that are currently present in the game, with the art book revealing some of the ideas that were going to be the other Colossi. Some are prototypes and were cut to improve the flow of the game, while others were combined to make the ones you see existing today. However, the 8 that were rumored or even somewhat announced to be in the game live on in the hearts of the fanbase, as well as through various developer sources and art books. The first of the unused Colossi is a winged gargoyle known as the Devil. It had long arms he would use to climb the stone pillars around the arena. He would shoot fire plasma bolts and has 2 tiny wings that, while they don't let him fly, they allow him to produce strong gusts of wind, similar to Avion, the 5th Colossus. The second is a Colossus by the name of the Griffin. He's fought in a similar manner to Dirge, a Colossus we have yet to fight. It had a strong focus on using aggro to get on top of the Colossus, and because it was so tedious and difficult to get on him, and fairly easy to fall off, it got incredibly frustrating repeating such an arduous process and was ultimately scrapped. We'll talk a little bit more about the Beta Loci in later episodes. Let's have a look at unused items, the first of which is the Eye of the Colossus. It's an item that allowed the player to witness battles through the eyes of the Colossus you were fighting. While it was semi-functional in the beta, it was removed for being buggy and was mostly unfinished. It seemed like an entirely awesome concept because you could activate it while a Colossus is dying and watch it fall to its death from its own point of view. It's very intriguing to say the least, but with that note, let's get started, shall we? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Shadow of the Colossus. In the last part, we went and defeated Gaius on normal difficulty while somehow being able to pull off the fabled sword jump the legends once spoke of. And in this part, we're going to take on one of my lesser favorite Colossi, Phaedra, this time on hard. But as per usual, we're going to add a new item to our roster, and with this one being slightly unimportant and not all that useful, especially where we are relevant to the game, it's got to be used sometime or later. We've got ourselves the Lizard Detection Stone. This, as the name would imply, would show you on the map here when there's a shiny-tailed lizard in your immediate proximity, but there's no real way of knowing this unless you took the time to press start every time you might be near one, and it can be a little frustrating at times. So that's kind of why I prefer using a guide online to keep track of getting them, and then getting them all at the same time. Now, it's not really useless if you missed a few as you were going along in the game, but like I said in the very first episode, if you intend on collecting every single lizard, you must do so in the same playthrough of the game, as your tails do not carry over through play files. Which leads me to another point on the lizards. To get them to count in the game as having been collected, you must actually kill the lizards and not simply consume their tails, which is entirely possible to do without killing them. And it's kind of funny seeing a little lizard running around without his tail and freaking out every 5 seconds because the only thing that made him special was gone and consumed by a giant monster standing on the back of an even gianter beast. It's kind of funny actually, but on this particular play file, I have collected all of the fruit and lizards I possibly could up to this point, and the rest are on top of the shrine and in front of the very final Colossus. Now, I know at the stamina I have right now, getting to the top is entirely doable, and we'll do it near the end of the game, because it's just so awesome. It's just, so much about this game is incredible. I love this little canyon we're going through, and, God, do you guys think I've said enough about this? Because this song is so good and this little area is just so gorgeous. I would definitely sleep here if I knew the dead rotting carcass of a behemoth wasn't going to be here until the end of time. So I probably won't. Be a little careful along this edge. I like standing on aggro because it makes it a lot easier to control him in these smaller environments, and if you fall off, that can cause some dire consequences for you. So not really, because, you know, it'll just take you 5 minutes to get out of the pit and you won't die or anything. And at best, it's a minor inconvenience. So the main gimmick of this particular arena are these 4 bunkers. We've got 4 halls with 4 entrances, with 1 Wander and 1 Colossus. We'll get into the strategy of this area in just a moment, but I would say that, whoa, aggro, be careful. I say we go take this mother of a monster down, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? we have Phaedra, the horse-like Colossus, and she's one hell of a beast. She's the 4th tallest Colossus in the game, and boy is she a pain in the ass. In normal time attack, you have 5 minutes and 30 seconds to kill her, and on hard, you have 5 minutes with an additional 2 sigils. This is the only Colossus that has more than 1 sigil on hard, so I guess that's something. Along with Gaius, this one gave me significant trouble on time attack, and it's mostly due to the inconsistency at which you can mount her. It's not difficult in theory, but getting her to go through the animation is incredibly frustrating, and somewhat started to ruin the game for me in terms of killing these guys in a timely manner. So, basically, you need to lure her to one of these bunker entrances and hide in them until she begins to investigate by crouching down and lowering what I'm assuming are her reins, and then grabbing onto those to get onto her head. However, despite the upside of getting there, where her main weak point is, it's a lot quicker, but most people consider it to be a lot more risky and prefer going around her butt side. So, for all intents and purposes, we're gonna go for the reins here. I've had to redo this particular recording more times than I'd like to admit, but I think I'll know how to animate this particular Colossus to our advantage, much like Gaius. So sometimes it's a little difficult to tell where she is here and whether or not she's going to take the bait, because if she sees you going inside, she'll just kind of lollygag out here, and if we poke our head out, we'll give away our position and she won't try to investigate. So you might, okay, so we've got some green grass falling on us here. Let's hope that she's actually somewhere near us. You can press L1 to zoom in and get a better idea where she is relative to your position, but let's see if she'll take much longer if we head down here. It's so weird because sometimes you go down here and then she'll start poking around the front here. If she takes much longer, I'll just go around back because it seems like, oh, there it is. Okay, so she's going to start attacking the front there. It's a good sign when she's stomping. So just wait a moment. Hopefully she'll lower thing down because that's a good sign that she will do that sooner rather than later. But there we go. All right, so now we can finally climb on up and hopefully not fall off. Ooh. Okay, all right, good. So her weak point is on her head, but she'll take like 10 minutes in flailing us around, which is kind of unfortunate. So let's just get on her face and see if we can make it up here first. If not, actually, I think I might try and get her other 2 weak points really fast, since they are actually really easy. So they're going to be on both sides of her front arms here, so we can go over here and take these guys out pretty fast. These have a third of her health, and it's not difficult. If you jump off while she's flailing her arms there, that'll be good for us because she has the animation of her not freaking out like this. Oh my god, stop it! Oof. Okay, that was close. Let's go over here and take her out, her other major sigil. These ones are required to get all of her health depleted, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's good. Now the rest is going to be on her head. So, and that's going to take 2 full-powered shots, I'm guessing. And there she goes again, freaking out. And there we go. See, and now we've got her back here, or the back of her neck, rather. And much like Valus, how we had to attack the back of his shin twice, you have to do the same exact thing here. It doesn't matter how strong it is, just as long as you hit it twice. And then what that'll do is that'll lower her head. Now we can go on her head and hopefully vanquish her once and for all. There's the aggro down there freaking out. Alright, so, hit number 1 won't kill her. But hit number 2, I say well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, say goodnight to Phaedra. You guys see how she fell? It hurts my head to see her do that, but hopefully we can still make it out of here. I'm sorry. I didn't want to do it, but So thank God that's all out of the way. It isn't really that bad in all honesty, but it's mostly getting on her back that feels inconsistent and just, in my opinion, isn't very fun. But I'm still glad to have Phaedra behind us. Next time on Shadow of the Colossus, we're going to take on Avion on normal. And no, I'm not referring to the tequila. I actually don't think he's that bad. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this part, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See you guys then.